Just what did that mean to you to have that come out? How is that motivating you moving forward? Just what does that mean to your story in the sport?
I mean, it's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of about time that we got our opportunity to share our stories and have the biggest moment ever watched be documented throughout time. And I'm hoping for more and more seasons because the longer we can go, the more characters we can have, the more drama, the more people get to follow us, and it's endless amount of opportunities for us.
And what's ahead for your journey, just short term, and just providing more historic moments moving forward?
Right now, I'm gonna go get ready to race. I think it's probably gonna be to be honest, my last indoor meet. I don't really see a reason to keep going. There's a lot more track to be run later in the season, so I just wanted to make sure I came out here. I was able to put together a great start, a great acceleration, and a finish like Noah Lyles. So I'm ready to go even more later on in the season. So this is a great start.
The last few years you have gone through USA and even last year as well indoors. So why not this year? What's different?
World Championships is in September, and to be honest, I think there's a lot of things that I could fill my schedule up with later in the middle of the season, and by not going to indoor, which is all the way in China, which I'm not trying to take that long of a trip for, it saves me a lot of time to prepare for that moment.
Training-wise, what's been different since the Olympics?
I'd say that I've been really working on my mechanics. A lot of today was the proprioception of just me trying to get my foot and hip to work together to create a better and quicker start.
How do you feel about the time in your race?
I mean, time is time. I'm more comfortable with how the race went. Getting the win is number one always. After that is, how well did I execute it? How well did I go through the acceleration phase? How smooth did it feel? Did I feel like I had to stumble anywhere, which I didn't feel that? I'm very excited for that because now it just means, okay, I have the rhythm. I'm just gonna carry it through the rest of the year and just add more intensity, more speed, more power.
Noah, both your wins today, prelim and final, were both kind of signature wins. Starting out kind of middle of the pack and then top speed just carried you through. Yeah, what do you think that says? What does that tell you about your top speed heading into this year?
This year it's always great to have top end speed. It's my gift, but I'm more focused on what my weaknesses are. How well and how good can I get my weaknesses to be and matching up to my biggest strengths.
Yesterday you talked a lot about transcending the sport. You had a grand entrance here today. Do you think we should make that more of a thing in track and field where athletes show up and like you do in the NFL where athletes show up in their game day suits?
I've been this is our third year in a row bringing in the walk-in, so I'm very proud to see that it didn't die in the first year, and I'm glad to see more and more people doing it. I actually told the meet director we need to have a 60-meter belt, because instead of getting athletes to go to press conferences and saying, yeah, I'm just here to hit a rust buster, just shake out my legs, I don't really care about the time. All right, put a belt in front of it. Are you going to take the belt or are you not going to take the belt? And if you do take the belt, that means you have to come back next year, because that means you have to defend it. And if you don't show up next year, somebody else is going to grab it, which makes it even better story of, okay, we have 2016 or 2024 versus 2025 champions going up against each other. Only one person can hold it. So it creates a storyline that people can follow for years down the road instead of just, I'm just here to run my first race. I hope it goes well.
Isn't the belt kind of the World Indoor title in a way?
No.
Why not?
Because nobody watches it.
So that's a good segue. You talked a lot about track and field relative to other sports. Obviously, events like this, Millrose, going up against basketball, the Super Bowl. Should track and field change its schedule to not be competing against other sports, or do we have to become competitive with other sports in terms of broadcasting?
No, we just got to do a better way of doing that. We just got to do a better job of showing that this is important. How are we going to – we could compete with them. We just have to do some of the things that they're doing. We talk about the walk-in. The walk-ins lead to articles with athletes in GQ. Okay, now we're talking about marketing them outside of track. Now we have sprint. Okay, now that we have sprint, everybody's getting hopped up on the Olympics. All right, the Olympics happens. Where do you go to watch it? FloTrack. Shoot, there's a paywall. Shoot, there's more steps that I have to go to watch track and field. Well, this is boring. This is out of my control. I don't want to go do that. We just lost all those fans we gained with sprint. It's like, okay, we have to make this easier and everywhere for people to be able to go and grab it and get attached to it.
All of this is kind of all of this whole discussion kind of showing, in addition to being top athletes in of becoming the biggest voices for how to improve the sport. I mean, how does it feel to have those roles brought out?
I mean, it's a contradictory type situation. On one hand, I'm in the sport and I have the biggest voice now. If I leave the sport, I could do more behind the scenes, but I'm not in the limelight anymore. So it's a very hard position at times. And then, you can't get your cake and eat it too sometimes. You're either changing the sport and changing something that people love and they hate you, or you're just going along with everybody and they love you just for going along with the flow. So it has its ups and downs for sure.
What was it like being introduced as the Olympic champion after playing a race before the prelim?
Oh, I love it. I love it every time. I was just, it was funny. This is probably the corniest joke I ever came up with. Me and Julie and Alfred got in the elevator at the same time, and then she got off, and I was like, shoot, that was the world's fastest elevator.
And do you have a message for Tyreek Hill?
See me on the track.
On a side note, touching a bunch of things over there. Let's talk about side missions, because the podcast, it's doing numbers.
Yeah.
What's the feeling behind it, the momentum, and what do you guys have coming up next?
I mean, we kind of got the idea just from being at U.S. Olympic trials. We were having an interview with Mike Tirico on the track, and he was like, you guys have great chemistry. You guys should start a podcast. And we took it to heart, and we made it happen. And to be honest, I feel like it's an opportunity for us to not only bring in track people and introduce them to new fans, but introducing new fans into the track world. Bringing guests and artists and actors and saying, hey, we love what you do. Let's have a conversation. And then, you ever been to a track meet? No, but I'd love to go. Hey, I got like 5 tickets for Eugene, Oregon. Where's that? Well, you're about to find out.
And continuing on the theme of side missions, 2025, let's talk about some of the fits. What does Kawasi have lined up for you? Kawasi's the homie, so.
Bro, he's the best. He's the best. We're cooking up a chrome heart fit. Slowly but surely. I don't want it to be basic. That's the problem.
What's the process behind it? Do you guys collaborate and just pick a race together, or is it just he brings something to you?
It's me giving him a call. I'm like, hey man, I got this event I gotta go to, and I'm trying to make sure we look fly the whole time. Where we gotta go. What we gotta put together. And he's like, all right, I got some ideas, and he'll send me like a mood board, and I'll be like, I like this one, and then I also have some ideas of how I've been feeling recently, and then we tailor it around that, and then he'll come to me with 7 outfits, and I'll choose the best out of whatever outfits we put together, and we move from there.
And when it comes to that, do you just have him send you some pictures and messages, or do you come to the city and on the low and just say, I want this, I'm going to come with a fashion exact, I got some outfits?
No, not all the time. I don't really get to go to New York as much, just to vibe and, hang out, or even just, that's a lot of energy when I have to train. So a lot of it is through pictures, but, there's those rare occasions where I do get in, and, we go ham, and we're like putting together outfits for like 3 events in the future, and it's like, all right, we know we're set for now.
Now that indoor is done for you, looking for the outdoors, what's the game plan for that?
I mean, I got some ideas. Of course, I have the buy in both the 100 and the 200, so you'll see me in Tokyo for sure. And then I'll, of course, be at U.S. Championships. I don't know what I'm going to run, but I'm going to run something. Raj tried to convince me to run the 400, so we'll see how that goes.
What about Grand Slam? How you feel about Grand Slam? Yeah? Yes,
we'll
no,
see.
Maybe?
We're in talks to see what can happen.
Could be a challenger.